Everybody, this is Kevin. You're listening to episode number 17 of the weekend edition of the PT Guru podcast. Today, we're going to talk about social media.
It's been a long time coming. 6 days a week and 10 hours a shift. What about the OT? Well, it ain't worth this. This ain't no 9 to 5 out here on these production lines. So I told them where to shove it, then they could read between the lines.
All right, so first things first, hope everybody's having a great weekend out there. Looking to be gorgeous in this neck of the woods, so hope it's the same in your area. First thing we like to do on the weekend version of the podcast, in case you're just tuning in case you just found me on YouTube or Facebook, like to kind of talk about what we talked about during the week. We do a regular podcast during the week. It's up on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Ask Alexa to play the PT Guru podcast, and that'll get you there as well. So what we talk about this past week? First off, Monday, we talked about kind of what it takes to actually be a calibration technician. A lot more than you think. It's definitely an interesting career path to choose. Tuesday, for kind of our metrology meets real life, we talked about microwaves. How does something that doesn't make heat, really, to speak of, cook things? Kind of some fun stuff there. Wednesday, for our equipment day, we talked about hydraulics, how we use those in the world of calibration and why we use them in the world of calibration. And then on Thursday, for Quality Toolkit Thursday, talked about the Kaizen, a Kaizen event more specifically, and how that can really improve a process dramatically in a really short period of time. Fun stuff there. And then on Friday, we talked about the calibration community. Just knowing that you're not alone out there in this world of calibration. I know so many people try to live in like their own little bubbles, and there's just so much stuff out there, so many people that are just willing to share, give you stuff, just help you out right and left. So get out there and get involved. And kind of to that same vein, so to speak, today we're going to talk about social media, and especially from a calibration standpoint in general, but then just in an overall kind of way as well. I mean, the rise of social media is not going away. If you're not on social media, you're one of very few, and maybe I can change your mind as to whether or not you're on there. But social media has done nothing but grow its digital footprint in the past 15 years. I mean, who remembers MySpace? I do. But, and then how quickly everybody just kind of migrated over to Facebook because MySpace just wasn't getting it done the same way Facebook was. And Facebook's kind of been the premier platform for overall general social media ever since. But it doesn't stop there. It's just the beginning. You got Twitter to chat with people. I mean, that's kind of the chat around the water cooler of this day and age. Instagram to share pics and short vids. YouTube for long form video. That's where we're at here. LinkedIn for business networking and also a lot of business information there as well. Snapchat for little 10-second fun videos that disappear 24 hours later. How cool is that stuff? And then there's so many others out there. I mean, you got Tumblr and Kik and WhatsApp. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on in this world. The interesting thing about these platforms is how they're aging up over the years. 5 to 10 years ago, you never caught my dad, who's in his 70s, being on Facebook. But guess what? He's there just about every day now. In fact, that's the fastest growing sort of demographic on Facebook these days, is this kind of 60 and up crowd. No, he's not there to see cat memes or take a which Game of Thrones character are you survey. He's not there to see the latest news or politics. He doesn't care about those things. If he wants to find out about them, he's going to watch them on TV. No, he's there to see, what his grandkids did today, how his kids are doing, how are things in their lives, what's going on with them in general. These social platforms have seen this aging up phenomena for some time now, and you should not be ignoring it. When you look at this and you think about, oh, it's just for kids, it's really not. There's a lot larger group of people out there, and they're all there interested in different things. So why the hell am I talking about calibration, all this in a calibration measurement podcast? Well, yesterday on our Friday podcast, where we kind of talked about the calibration community, the social media has come along and changed the way we communicate as an entire species. Now, regardless how you feel about that, it's the truth. And if you're one of the haters out there, that's fine. But I bet you've said something like social media or Facebook's going to be the downfall of society, or how Facebook is destroying the political climate that we have in this country. Well, if it's really that powerful, don't you think you should be on board with it? Maybe checking it out, maybe doing a little bit of stuff here or there. Now, when we step back from that ugly 10-20% of social media, we then can see the positive 80 or 90%, and that's where I live, that's where most people live, that's where most of us interact when we're talking about social media. Yes, it's got an ugly side. Guess what? So does society. Social media just mirrors actual society. That's it. So living in a somewhat niche professional community as metrologists, calibration folks in general, you know, how many like-minded folks are you going to find in your zip code? And even if you could find them, I mean, how are you going to find them? And even if they're like-minded, how much can you really learn from them? And better yet, how do you know they're not full of it? 10 years ago, when you wanted to learn something or figure something out, you said, Google it. You know, now we say, YouTube it. Wow, when did that happen? The best part here, check the comments. If somebody's full of crap, you're going to find out. The comments are going to let you know. This is one of the best parts of social media, is that it has that self-vetting process sort of built in. You don't need to just listen to someone pontificate and then make a personal decision as to whether or not you believe their spiel. No, social media is going to vet that information, and people are going to call people out when they're full of bull. So, you know, read some blog posts on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is one of my favorite places for reading blog posts, especially in the professional community, because at this point, these things might as well be peer-reviewed articles, because they're in a professional community, and when somebody is way off track, they're getting called out on that bull real quick. And this is all great stuff for you. You know, if you're listening, watching this, I know you're interested in getting educated in measurement and calibration. I also know there's more information out there than what I am able to give you. I also know that I can't answer every single question that you have. I can point you in some right directions. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything, obviously. So this is where that social media part really kind of comes in. You want a free college education? Social media and podcasts, right there. They can give it to you. I remember reading somewhere years ago that given the average American commute to work, if they just listen to educational materials during that commute, no other time, just during your commute, they would get about a year's worth of college education in just under 18 months. That's pretty amazing. I mean, just by listening, just by using that time that you spend sitting in the car, getting aggravated over traffic or whatever the case may be, you can just educate yourself at that level. That's amazing to me. You know, I always thought that that was amazing, and that's what I do. I mean, I consume content. When I drive, I go to the gym, when I have some downtime. Now, don't get me wrong. I give myself permission to listen to music from time to time, or rarely I'll go and maybe watch TV when I'm on the edge of burnout. But for the most part, I am going to consume content. And, you know, I'll skip the rhetoric and I'll grow my knowledge. And for me, that's a lot of metrology, but I have other interests as well. You're interested in something else? Find more podcasts. Find more social media groups on the stuff that you can do with this. So for those of you that don't know, I'm going to break down how to do some of exactly what I'm talking about. So how do we go about doing this kind of thing? Well, first things first, you want to get educated. The number one social kind of thing you can do is get out there and start listening to podcasts. Now, if you're listening to this right now, you've got that part right, and you probably know exactly what to do. But if you're strictly on video, learn about podcasts. There are amazing things to be seen and heard. Well, the podcasts are more heard than seen, obviously. And don't be intimidated here. It's easy. I know some folks are just like, I don't know how to do it. I've heard about it. I want to, but I don't know. Super easy. Get out your smartphone. Now, if it's an iPhone, it is super incredibly easy. You're going to find the podcast app. And guess what? It's right there. Typically, it's located in one of those little box things that says extras. And go on there. It's right next to your calculator. If you found that, you probably found your podcast button. You can go on there and start searching for keywords or phrases that you're interested in. When you find something that you like, hit subscribe. And now, every time new episodes come out, it's going to download it for you, and it's going to be there if you want to listen. It's going to be there if you want to check it out. If you decide you don't like that podcast after a couple episodes, maybe you started liking it and then change your mind, you can unsubscribe to it, and it's not going to bug you anymore. Now, if you're on Android, you'll need to download an app. I don't believe, everything I kind of looked up real quick for this, doesn't appear that Android has a native podcasting app, but which kind of makes sense. I mean, Apple was more in this podcasting world, hence the name pod, as in iPod. But you're going to download an app if you're on Android. Castbox appears to be probably the most popular, and it works just like the iPhone app does. Search keywords, stuff you're interested, subscribe, and that's going to get you a long way. So podcasts, great place to start in trying to educate yourself using social media. That's lots of info out there, lots of folks just like me that like to talk about what they're interested in, and guess what? You get to learn something. How nice is that? So you're on Facebook, right? If you're not, back up a few minutes, listen to that part again. So once you're there, one of the things you want to do is maybe join some groups. Find some stuff that you're interested in. We're talking about calibration and metrology here, but that could be anything. It could be smoking, it could be barbecuing, it could be whatever. You go to the groups icon. Now, if you're on a CPU, like a regular computer, easy to find. It's on the left-hand side of the screen for you. If you're on your smartphone, touch the three little horizontal lines at the bottom of the screen. You might have to tap the See More button there to get to it, but you'll find the group, and you can click Discover up at the top, and that will give you the ability to search, and so you can look for calibration or metrology, quality assurance, whatever else you're into, home brewing, 1980s sitcoms, whatever. There are groups of like-minded folks who would love to hear from you, would love for you to participate, and would love to just share what they're talking about with you. So Facebook is a great place to really interact with the information that you're looking for, and maybe even contribute something to the conversation. LinkedIn, my favorite place for white papers and articles. A little harder to find here, but they're there. If you go to LinkedIn and start following folks that are maybe into similar things, have similar interests, if you're into calibration, follow me, Kevin Radzik, and you're going to see my posts come up, but then you're also going to see other people commenting and liking my posts that will allow you to get to other posts that are maybe similar in the nature of what you're looking for. So LinkedIn is a great place for that kind of information. It's just absolutely blowing up with that kind of stuff. Instagram, just mentioning it quickly, it's all about the hashtag culture. So think about the word that you're interested in. Touch the magnifying glass at the bottom of the screen, put your little octothorpe, your hashtag, £, whatever you want to call it, followed by your word. Or, try multiple words without spaces sometime. It's, all kinds of different stuff. What you're going to do then, search, and it's going to default to the most popular things under that hashtag, which if you're looking for something that's like really current, that might not be exactly what you want. If you look at the screen at the top, there is a recent, and there's like kind of a most popular and then a recent button. If you pop over to the recent button, that's people that are popping up stuff like right now. So get involved. Somebody pops up something, maybe they got a question. Maybe you've got an answer for it. You know, hop in there, say something. Maybe you can help somebody else. Maybe somebody else can help you out. And if you're looking for help, maybe you take a picture, throw it up on there, hashtag it to death, and maybe somebody will respond to you because they'll be able to find it in that same way. So if you want to grow as a person and a professional, you know, one of the best ways to do it is just expand your knowledge. And these are just some super simple, easy ways to start. I mean, you're talking about a few minutes to really get interactive, get engaged in these groups, with these people, with podcasts, with articles, and all this stuff. So, you know, I implore you, get out there, get educated, learn more, grow. It's what it's all about. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. Hope it was informative for you. If you are a regular listener to the podcast, do me a huge favor, swing over to iTunes and leave me a rating over there. Helps other people find it. If you dig what we're doing with the videos on the weekend, do me a huge favor and just throw me a like. Subscribe to the channel, then you'll find out what's going on. As I add more stuff to this channel, it's not all going to be podcasts. We're going to pop up some of my educational videos and those kind of things over here, and you'll know when those get popped up, when those get added to the queue over here, because you'll get notifications because you've subscribed to the channel. So I hope you have a great weekend, what's left of it, and I hope you have a great week, and I'm going to talk to you again on Monday. Thank you.